What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about how Batman will be in the next Rocksteady game. Now, this is part of our, starting our coverage, I should say, of the Rocksteady title. Now, I've made a ton of videos on Harry Potter Magic Awakened. I've made a ton of videos on the brand new Arkham game from Warner Bros. Montreal, and I'm going to be continuing that. But I want to open up the horizon just a little bit more. I also want to throw Rocksteady in there. I think all three of these games are pretty intertwined. I think a lot of people that like one definitely probably like another, and so I hope to get a lot of the people that, and you guys that are watching right now, I hope you guys have watched the Magic Awakening. I hope you guys have watched the new Arkham game from Warner Bros. I hope we can all have a really nice community here and start to expand it beyond even just those two games, even though those two games are enough. But like I said, I want to talk about Rocksteady, and there's a lot to talk about with Rocksteady, and I could make so many videos, and I will make videos over the next couple weeks and months talking about Rocksteady, because they're the ones who I really don't talk about all that often, because we don't really know that much, almost next to nothing, about their new game. They've kept a lot of things secret. They're not the ones that have had multiple leaked kind of games that also then get canceled. They're not that, right? That's kind of Warner Bros. Montreal. It's not necessarily Rocksteady. Rocksteady's in that position where they've just been making a game for this long, and I think it just kind of indicates that this game is going to be very, very big, that this game is very important, and that we'll get it when we get it. I don't think it's tied to the new Arkham game or the Harry Potter Magic Awakening. I mean, like, when it comes out, I don't think it's as tied to those as I've said for those two games. The biggest thing, though, and one of the biggest topics, and I think the one that kind of makes like for a really good video like this, is talking about Batman. I mean, Batman is a very obviously popular character, and obviously, because of the Arkham games, we've talked about the brand new Arkham game, and it really is stemmed from the love of Arkham from Rocksteady. Rocksteady started it all. The biggest thing I can't help but say is that Batman, in my opinion, I truly do believe this, and you could ask me this now, you can ask me this a year from now, you could ask me this several years ago. I truly do believe that no matter what, and then that's kind of why I want to make this video, no matter what the game is that Rocksteady is making, I think Batman will be in it. Will he be the main character? No. Will it be an Arkham game? No. That much is completely, I think, confirmed. And I've talked a lot about, if the developer says something, you got to really, hold off if you believe them or not, because a lot of times developers lie. I know I've said that a lot in the past. One of the only times I do believe it is when Rocksteady has repeatedly said that they are not making an Arkham game. I do believe them. I think there were enough hints, even in Arkham Knight. I think there's been enough hints from the company over the last 4 years. I think with an Arkham game, again, rumored, leaked, supposedly being made at Warner Bros. Montreal, I don't think there's two Arkham games going on at the same time. I don't think that's happening. I think Rocksteady's game really is more of that Justice League kind of thing. Now, I know there's been reports. I know there's been rumors. I know there's been all that stuff about the Justice League game and what's happened with it. Has it been canceled? All that kind of stuff. So, again, to kind of like not jump into that right away, because I will make videos talking about it, and I do think I kind of would lean towards that's what's going on. I think no matter what it is, you have to include Batman. And not just you have to include, but I also think there's been enough hints from Kevin Conroy. Now, the Arkham games from Warner Bros. Montreal, Origins, and whatever this new one is, I don't think it's not Kevin Conroy. I was going to say, I don't think. Well, we know it wasn't from Arkham Origins. And obviously, Mark Hamill's not the Joker. It's Troy Baker. So we know that. So Kevin Conroy has always been attached to the Batman in the Arkham games in Rocksteady. Obviously, he's done Batman stuff other than that. But his tweets, and I know he's like a energetic guy. I know he's like he's super nice guy, but a guy that really, really does enjoy playing Batman, and he'll take the job as Batman any day. You just have to offer it to him. I know he's like that. But the tweets that he'll say when he'll tweet to Rocksteady, like, just one more time, or like, people want like things like that. I believe when not the 10-year anniversary, but when they did that Arkham collection, remember back in like early August, we talked about that when they announced that. I believe he tweeted Rocksteady and said like bring him back, and he's done it in the past. It's not just that. I feel like he's done it 3-4 plus times over the past couple of years, where he's tweeted directly at them, or he's made statements like, I would do it again one more time, like, bring me back, stuff like that. And again, like, I understand that could just be joking. That could just be like he just wants to play Batman again, and he wants Rocksteady off from the. And that happens. I mean, people will make jokes, and we've seen that even with like Marvel casting. Actors and actresses have posted things on Twitter years ago saying like, "Hey, Marvel, hit me up for this role," and then like 3 years later, now or whatever, they're that role. Okay, but they were joking back then. But then Marvel actually did it. So like, it can happen. It can't happen like that. It doesn't have to mean that he's teasing anything, but he could also be So he could be teasing it, and you could say, well, if he's teasing it, then that definitely confirms it. Or you could say, well, he's just kind of asking, or he's just kind of floating that out there that he'd be up to do it, but Rocksteady could still take him up on that. Now, here's the deal. At the point we're at, if they have been making a game for 4 years, he would have already done the lines, or he would already be doing the lines. People actually, voice actors do lines and do dialogue in the game almost right up to when the game actually comes out. It's one of the things that constantly gets worked on. So it doesn't have, he doesn't have to be finished with it. He didn't have to have done it 3 years ago, and he hasn't done it since. He could still be doing it now. He could be doing it, up until a couple months before the game comes out. That's just how it works. So you can take that. And again, that's not much to go off of, and this is by no way confirming it. I know we get a lot of people that say, yeah, you get everybody's hopes up too high and all that stuff. And again, like, I'm just an excited person in general. I have a lot of enthusiasm for these games. I like talking about it. I like kind of breaking it down. They're just all my opinions. They're just my line of thinking. You don't have to agree, but I'm not purposely getting people excited. I'm not doing this I don't have inside sources, right? I'm not kind of like dragging you guys along. So I just want to make that clear. So, you can look at Kevin Conroy and say, well, he could be like, that could be something you look at. You also look at if it is a Justice League game, and we can just go based off that. If it's a Justice League game, I mean, Batman has to be in it. And if Batman is in it, then you'd have to have, you'd argue Kevin Conroy would have to be. I mean, they could pick a new person for Batman, but, and that's happened in gaming world before where they choose a different voice actor, but normally that comes with some sort of fallout. That means there was something behind the scenes that didn't go well. I don't think Rocksteady would kind of be that disrespectful to somebody like Kevin Conroy. You don't really do that to somebody like him. They could. It just wouldn't be it wouldn't be a good move on them. Like, they wouldn't look very good doing it, but they could. But at the same time, again, if it's a Justice League game, I mean, Batman's all but confirmed. And why wouldn't you have Batman in it? Even if it's just another superhero, you could have kind of like a duo thing. And we know from Warner Bros. Montreal that there has been things in the works of like multiple people playing it. When they were doing the Suicide Squad game, or when they were working on the prototypes for it, they were trying to work on multiple people playing. Now, Warner Bros. Montreal is not Rocksteady, but they share similar ideas. They always have, they always will. And not just that, Warner Bros. In general shares ideas. That canceled Arkham Knight sequel game was supposed to have the Nemesis system in it. And I can bet you any money that future games that are anything like that, anything like an open world game, if Warner Bros. Montreal is making an Arkham game, the Nemesis system will be in it in its own way. The Middle Earth Nemesis system will be in it for criminals. If Rocksteady makes a Justice League game, I guarantee you they will find out a way, a spin on it in their own way to do the Nemesis system. So basically what I'm saying is they all share ideas. If there was prototypes being in the works for multiple people being able to play, what's stopping them from making a Justice League game and having multiple people be able to play it? You don't have to. It could be like a Marvel's Avengers. Imagine if Marvel's Avengers comes out and then like a year later a Rocksteady game comes out of Justice League and the Justice League game just tears it apart. Now, the Marvel's Avengers game does look better and better every time we see it, but I do think there's definitely an opportunity and a window there for Rocksteady to just blow it out of the water and make a far superior project. I think that's totally a realistic thing that can happen. If you have a Justice League game, you have Batman, and that's another thing is, why ditch the combat system you did? Now, if you have Flash, if you have Superman, if you have Wonder Woman, they're all very, very different. They all act very, very different. I don't know if you can make the fighting system you made for Batman that's been around for so long in gaming. I don't know if you can make that work for people like Flash and Superman and stuff, but if you had I keep going back to this. If you have a Justice League game, Batman is already covered. You already have your designs for him. You already know how he would look. And it doesn't have to be in the same world. It doesn't have to be in the same universe. It doesn't have to be after Arkham Knight. It could. It doesn't have to, though. You could, I mean, you'd still have Kevin Conroy. You'd have a rough look of how Batman would be. You'd know how he would play. You would keep the exact, I assume, you'd keep the exact same play style. It'd be like a mini Arkham game inside a Justice League game, and then you'd figure out the other characters. And I assume that's what's taking them so long, is if they are making a Justice League game, they probably have to design very, very different, systems for all of these characters, and I assume that would take quite a while. But even again, and I kind of hinted at it, even if it's not a Justice League game, even if they just go Superman, I think it's still a very wise idea that you include Batman. They've been hinting, and especially in Arkham Knight, they've been hinting at a bigger world, right? We know the Flash exists in this world. We know Superman exists in this world. So if you just have Superman as the main character, I get it. That's fine. But what's stopping you from including a couple? I mean, maybe you could be setting up the Justice League. Maybe the whole point of the game is to set up the Justice League, and they kind of come in throughout the game until at the very end, then you make the Justice League at the very end. That's possible. In order to do that, again, Batman would need to be in it. No matter what, they're making a superhero game, and no matter what, if you have a superhero game, I think you can find a way to put Batman in it. I think it would just be a wise idea. People love it. People love Batman, and the Batman formula works so well, so just put it in and figure out the rest of the game after that or before that. And I honestly do feel like that's what they've done. I would bet I'd bet money on it that Batman will be in the next Rocksteady game. When we'll see that game, I do want to talk about all things about that game, those kind of like when we'll see it, when would it come out, those kind of things. I do want to talk about that in the future. Guys, let me know what you guys think of this video. Did you like it? What did you think of my opinions? Do you think Batman should be in it? What do you want me to talk about with the Rocksteady game? I really would like to start making more Rocksteady videos, and I will over the next couple months. But let me know your suggestions for videos you guys want to see. Thank you as always for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon, and I will see you all on the next video.